I was an unpaid carer for my dad, who was diagnosed with vascular dementia. The diagnosis at the time came as a shock to our family. Even although we knew that my dad was ill, we wrongly thought that recurrent urine infections were causing his mood swings, irrational behaviours, and the delusions. My caring role was light touch at the beginning. I only undertook household chores, shopping, etc. But as time progressed, it became more intensive and it lasted for over 6 years. It was a very trying period for everyone, especially for my dad, because he was upset, he was confused, he was unpredictable, he was afraid, and often very argumentative. As time progressed, his health deteriorated, and even though my dad had a robust care package in place, including home support workers, the alert alarm, door alarms, it became apparent that he couldn't live alone safely in his own house. Despite receiving numerous telephone calls while at work from the police, from neighbours, from the home support service, the fire service, and so on, my employers always advised me to take the time I needed to check on him. There was never an issue with attending GP appointments, memory clinic, hospital appointments. My employers at NLCT were very empathetic and understanding, allowing me to be flexible with my working hours. I'll never forget my manager saying to me, "Do not have any regrets." The trust between management and myself was incredible and never at any time was it abused. If I had to attend any appointments, I would advise in advance the date and time, and I would offer to start work earlier, work my lunch hour, or work on a bit later. It was a two-way street that worked for all concerned. Very sadly, my dad was admitted in for respite care into a local nursing home, but unfortunately, he didn't return home and he began to live there permanently. I asked my employers if I could incorporate flexible working by reducing my hours, and this enabled me to visit my dad every other day and spend as much quality time with him as possible before he stopped recognising and communicating with us. Some may think that your caring role stops when a loved one moves into a nursing home. The physical side of the caring did stop, but the emotional part did not. If anything, it increased my feelings of guilt, and we felt a huge void and a sense of loss. We would often take my dad out for a fish tea, a visit to a garden centre, or even out for a cake and coffee, and we had lots of quality time together. And now looking back, I have no regrets. Having the opportunity to remain in work was a huge important part of my life, and it still is today. In addition to maintaining financial stability, it also had a positive effect on my mental health and well-being. I was able to have a life outside my caring role by continuing to work in a job that I enjoyed and not have the financial hardship of being dependent on benefits or being eligible for the statutory carers allowance of £67.25 a week. Unfortunately, my dad passed away, and I felt I had the work life and caring role balance just right, and the bonus of having the support of my employers at North Lanarkshire Carers Together. Undoubtedly, without the support and understanding of NLCT, I may have not had the choice to remain in employment. My actual respite and time out from caring was my work. Many days my colleagues would be there to offer words of wisdom and lift my spirits and morale. Working for an organisation that has the exemplary award has been hugely beneficial, and it comes as no surprise that as the population is getting older, people are living longer, and there is an increase in long-term condition, it would be advantageous for many employers to be part of the carer positive. Finally, from a personal point of view, I would encourage other organisations to consider being carer positive and plan ahead for the future, as no one knows what's in store for them. Thanks for listening to my story.